After that, both Sin and Tiara go to the quest and they both come to a carriage outside the kingdom. "That's Mr. Nike!" Sun then asks the adventurer standing there if this is Mr. Neck's carriage, to which the adventurer says that this is Mr. Nick's carriage, and he asks both of them whether you are the adventurer who has taken part in the quest, after which both Sin and Tiara tell him their names. The adventurer then reveals his name to be Jian. Just then, a girl comes on top of the carriage and her name is Suba, and it's in the box too. Then there's an old man named Neck, and he tells them that I am a merchant and today all of you are going to go with me. Then they all sit in the carriage of the Neck and go to the net, and here in the castle the king finds out. If the century has disappeared from its place, then they get very upset about this, and tell that the century was made with a legend technology. That is why no one has been able to move that century from its place till date. But the disappearance of such a building is perhaps a matter of great tension for us. Then the first princess asks everyone about the riser, to which they all point out that the riser is not in the castle. Maybe they'll be able to get here tomorrow. Then they tell us that Ryan is not there yet, so we have to wait for the riser to arrive. After that, we can move on. King finds his daughter's point and agrees to it. Gain asks the two of them if they have ever killed a human. After listening to which Tiara does not understand anything. Then Sin explains that there are also some bad people here, so we have to fight them all to stop them. Then Suba explains that she has defeated many people who have also made the mistake of underestimating her. Sin then asks them about their abilities so that they can all help each other. Gain reveals that he is a samurai and has the rank of A, but he doesn't know how to use it. Suba then reveals that she is an E-rank adventurer, and he has support. Then Tiara tells that she is an aimist, but she can use bow and arrow, but her level is G, because she has registered her name in the guild today. But she can also use healing magic. Then Sean explains that he is also a samurai like Jane, and his rank is Kai, but he can also use light and fire magic at the same time. He then tells her about Juha, whom he tamed a few days ago, and he's a monster. Then Jane tells Sean that you can use magic even after being a samurai. For this, you must have worked very hard. Then she asks Sean in the morning, "Are you Hino fat?" To which Sin says, "I'm not from there. But why did you feel that way?" On which Suba says that most of the samurai are fat, so I thought you might be from there too, and she says a lot of people become night guards. But I find them very strange. After listening to which Sean tells that there is no such thing, they are all very strong and work hard. To which Suba tells that they all train like crazy and treat themselves like a monster. After listening to which Sin understands his point and tells that they are very strong. Then Jean explains that most of the samurai come from Unique Island. Where there are many ninja bases, there are also many samurai in Himoto, which is in the man-force center of the kingdom there. Then Jane tells Sean about the guild over there, that there are a lot of guilds over there. After listening to which Sean starts thinking that there have been many changes in this game. Jane explains that not much is known about the little guilds that exist. Just then their carriage stops and they come out to see that bandits have come in their way. The bandits tell Mr. Neck that if you want to save your life, give us all your stuff. Sean tells Mr. Neck to get into the carriage and asks Yuha to protect him, after which both Mr. Neck and Yuha go inside the craze. After that, get ready to fight all the bandits. And the Tiara is on the back of the carriage with its bow. She sees that there are some bandits ahead of them, and here all those bandits would see him and tell him that after killing all of them, we will do ilu ilu with this girl. That's when Tiara starts to see the killing intent inside the scene, and it's very dangerous. Tara is horrified to see this. That's when Tiara sees some people who are hiding. And then Jane pulls out her sword and tells them, "If you don't want to die, get out of here. But don't be afraid to listen to them." Then the leader of those bandits tells Jane that you are A rank, so what if you do not protect anyone while fighting? So we'll finish you off with these E ranks too. After listening to which Jane thinks that they already know about us. Just then, Sin says that he needs to know who gave them the information about us. Just then, Tiara attacks the two men who are hiding behind the tree, and they're both dead. Seeing this, they are all very surprised and start wondering how he came to know about our people. Then they all start fighting them and defeat them. Sin comes to his leader, beats him severely, and captures him. And seeing Tiara sin like this scares me a lot. Sin's killing intent is clearly visible that he is very angry. Seeing this, the bandits are very afraid. That's when Tiara comes up to Sin and hugs him. And when Sin asks her what happened to Tiara, so she sees that Sin is now back to normal and she is very happy to see this. Then Tiara goes away from there, and here they do not understand anything. And here Tiara's face is completely red and she starts thinking that the scene had changed a little while ago, but perhaps she did not know this. And she hugged Sin, and maybe Riser would have done the same thing to calm Tiara down. Then she looks at Sin, who is looking at her, and she is very ashamed to see this. Tiara begins to wonder how she will face all of them now. Sin and everyone else don't understand what's going on with Tiara. Then we see that now Sin is going to fernet with the Tiara. That's when they find out that their fellow members were also sent to church, and they know it now. Sin now starts to miss Russia and their talk. And he had told Sin that he might even find bandits on the way. We still don't know the intentions of those who were sent by the previous priest, and Sean begins to wonder if the bandits who just arrived were a coincidence or if they were sent by that priest. After that, they all reach Ferney, and then Mr. Neck gives all of them a certificate for their mission to prove that they have completed their mission. Jane and Suba then tell Sean that they have to move to another city, so they are leaving now. Sin asks Tiara if she feels comfortable on this trip, to which Tiara says that she was not comfortable inside the carriage. Then Sun tells Tiara that we should take a carriage because the journey ahead is going to be very big. After that, they both come to the shop to get the carriage, where there are a lot of cars. Sun was very excited to think that he would modify that carriage because it's faster and more comfortable. Tiara asks Sun if you're thinking of driving the carriage without a horse, to which Sin says it's possible to do it, I just have to make some modifications. Hearing this, Tiara refuses Sin and says that we should take a normal carriage in which we can all travel comfortably. Then both Sun and Tiara start looking at a carriage and it is very heavy. To which the owner tells Sin, do you have a horse? Because this carriage is very heavy, you will need more than one horse. Then Sin asks the owner that I have seen some people here who pull the carriage from the monster. The owner says that the monsters are very strong, so they use them, and you can also use the monster, but first you have to tame a monster. After hearing this, both Sin and Tiara come out of there. Sin then connects to Riser via telepathy, and Riser tells Sin that she has finished her work, so she is coming to them as soon as possible. And she tells Sin that after the disappearance of the Moon Century, everyone in the kingdom is upset, but I explained everything to them. On which Sean tells that Moon Century is a very old and rare building, so many people had tried to buy it. But Sin refused to sell the Moon Century. Then Sin tells Riser that he's going to do a monster contract. After listening to which the Riser tells that she will reach him by tomorrow and will also bring a monster so they can all stay in a hotel and wait for him to come. Sean asks Riser that you are very popular in the kingdom, so you must have received a lot of proposals for marriage, on which the Riser says that he has also rejected many people. A lady then asks Sin and Tiara if they are looking for a hotel here. Then she recommends them to a hotel. Then Sin and Tiara are very surprised to see that hotel because it looks very expressive. Then both Sin and Tiara arrive at the hotel reception and ask for a room. The lady at the reception asks Sean if he wants the same room because he thought they were a couple. After hearing this, both Sean and Tiara go to Sharma and say that we need a separate room. After that, they both come to the room to rest. After that, Sean starts to clean his sword, then they all go to dinner. After dinner, Juha tells Sean that he has to take a bath, and hearing this, Tiara's heart also starts to take a bath now. Then he and Juha take a bath together. Then he and Juha go for a bath together, and here Sean is outside looking at the moon from the window. After that, Sean falls asleep and Yua is sleeping on his face. Here we see the Riser that is tamping down a giant monster. The next day, Sin modifies the carriage, and Tiara is surprised to see that Sin modified the carriage so quickly. Riser then tells Sin that she has come to the forest and has tamed a monster. After which both Sean and Tiara start going to meet Riser in the forest. Only then they see a huge monster in front of them. Then Sean starts to check the status of the monster, and he finds out that the level of this monster is 551. Sean is surprised to see that the level of the monster is 551, which is much higher than a normal monster, and Shayad can also be a divine beast. That monster likes the tiara very much, only then the riser comes there. Riser explains that he has tamed this monster in this forest, and with his help, they can now drive the carriage. After listening to which, Sean gets a little surprised and starts thinking how she can pull the carriage from such a big monster. Then Sean asks Riser if we're going to pull this carriage off this monster. Riser would have thought that Sean did not like this monster, but Sean says that he liked this monster very much. The Riser then asks the monster to show its power, after which the monster becomes smaller. Seeing this, Sin becomes happy and starts thinking that humans will no longer be afraid of this monster. Juha then starts talking to the monster and realizes that his name is Simar, after which Simar tells Juha that she is ready to help them. Riser says that this carriage is very comfortable, on which Tiara says that Sin has modified it, so it has become very comfortable, and here Juha is talking to Simar. Simar tells Juha that he used to live with his mother in the mountains, but some hunters killed his mother. When Juha tells this to Sin, Sin feels very sad. But he knew that the mission of adventure in the world is to kill the monster, and he has also killed many monsters. And Simar knew that Tiara had saved her in childhood, so he likes her very much. After hearing this, Tiara starts remembering that she had saved a small puppy in childhood. Then she comes to know that the small puppy is Simar, and this is about 100 years ago. After listening to Riser Tiara, she would tell him that I will transfer the ownership of Simar to you so that you will become its master. Then Riser breaks her contract with Simar, and after that, Tiara gets tamed with her. After the taming, both Tiara and Simar start sleeping. Here, both Sin and Riser are sitting in front of the bonfire and talking. Riser tells Sin that she allowed Tiara to tame this monster because she goes out on a mission, leaving Tiara alone at home, and in such a situation, if Simar stays with him, then she will not be bored and I will not have to worry much about her. After hearing this, Sean tells Riser that you are very good, and Riser is also happy to hear about Sean. Then they all start going to his village to meet the Beast King, i.e. Great. Then they meet some people on the way. Riser tells Sean that she will go and talk to all of them. Both of them also recognize Riser, because the Riser is very popular in this world. Riser tells Sin that these two are the descendants of the Grade, and in a way they became part of the Grade family. After that, Sean reduces the carriage with his magic, and here, Samar also reduces its size. Then they all start going to the Grade with them. Riser explains that the Grade's age is too high. Then Sin comes to the Grade and meets him. Grade is very happy to see the scene and says that I had lost hope of meeting you in this life, Master. When he sees Sin Great, he tells him, I didn't think you'd still be alive. To which Great starts laughing and says that even I don't know about this. Great then introduces all his members, and first of all he tells about the king of the Beast Wolf gang and his daughter Kernur. He then introduces his right hand Banak and left hand Razim. Then Sean tells them that my name is Sean, and you all must know that I am a high human being. Then the Great tells Sean that there is no need for you to do so much formality, Master. After listening to Zeus, Sin also tells the Great that you stop calling me Master at first. You've never called me Master. To which the Great Sin says that we have met after many years, so I'm having a bit of fun. Then he tells the Great Son that the High Human is very popular in this world because the people here consider him a legend warrior, and they're so scary. After that, both Sin and Great began to remember their past, that they used to fight monsters together. After remembering these memories, Sean and Great are very happy. Then Sean tells the Great that you have created your own nation here, to which the Great asks him how you came to know this. Sean tells her that Riser had already told him about it, after listening to which Garrett tells Riser that I was going to tell him this thing, to which Riser tells Great that you talk too much, so I've already told Sin everything, after listening to which she starts laughing and then she goes to make a tea. Then Sean tells the Great that he could not go back to his world and has come forward after 500 years in the future. To which the Great Sin says that's why I couldn't find you. He then tells Great Sin about himself, that he is going to die soon. And his last wish before he dies is that he wants to fight Sin, the great human, for the last time. Now going forward, we are going to see the greatest fight ever, because their great is also about 650 years old beast, which used to be the king of all beasts 500 years ago. That is, at that time, he was the most powerful beast, so now you do not know how powerful he must have been. And what about our hero? Their great human beings were powerful, but they were also known as legends. Now this great fight we will cover in the next episode, and we are ending this part of our explanation. See you in the next part. Bye, and take care.